Alright folks, here we go with the second half of the racing tonight, and this is the feature race that's being brought to you from Silverstone, the iconic Silverstone circuit that we are running. Round number 5, season number 5 of the Protos, and it's going to be a brilliant spectacle to watch as they come off the line. This is the inverted grid that you see there. It's McCliskey from McCain, Stock, Martinez, Ferrier, Sykes, Gaza is in there as well. Owen Patterson, Sean Skitter, Jorge Bentes, well, they're all in there. And this is going to be very interesting to see how this one is going to play itself out. The main event of the day, and that happening at the iconic Silverstone circuit. What can be nicer than to actually watch racing on this circuit as they move up towards the start-finish line? And here we go. It's going to be action. Oh, straight away we've got action. And that was Alan McCain that went wide going down into turn number 1 and got just dumped completely out of it. Stefan Wessels leads them out from the get-go. Can you believe it? Well, now Wessels got to make this one count, because Wessels has not had such a good time recently. It has not gone all his own way at all. So he seriously needs to have a good one here. Once again, Neil Ferrier is right in there as well. Gaza Williams in that third position as he works his way through. Quite a mixed up grid this one is going to be. Benjamin McCliskey, the man that won the first race of the day. He won it going away, did Benji M. That's him on screen. Then it's Paul Williams, who also had a pretty good run. Mark Sykes once again just outside of the top 5 in his favorite 666, that green motor car, as he works his way through. Jochen Sigurd from Igor Martinez. Then just a little bit further back, there goes Jorge Bentes. Now, his first race didn't work very well in the LMP3s at all. He's got Mark Baker, the man that leads the series, directly in there behind him. And Baker needs that one. Then the man that won race number 1, the sprint race, there's Owen Patterson. He finds himself in a third position, and right in there behind him, the Shark Man, Nick Clibbons. And then the pink one is Nigel Stock. Then Mike Ridner and Sean Skitter coming pretty much off the back end of the pack. So it must have been Sean Skitter that went wide initially. Fastest man out there, Neil Ferrier, the winner of race number 1. He finds himself just 6/10 off. Look how they've spread out already. Let's have a look at that from upstairs. That is the gap that you see there. Vessels from Ferrier, from Williams. That is your front 3. Then behind that, the red one is Benji M, Benjamin McCliskey. Behind that, we go to Paul Williams. That's a Jochen. That's dropped just a little bit. That's 2.8 seconds further back to Jochen, and he's been chased down by Igor Martinez. Now, Igor had a pretty good first round. Igor, loud on the gas, hard on the brakes, just drifts it in a 4-wheel drift. He actually did very well to be able to pull it together from there, because that was not an easy one for him to pick up whatsoever. And he actually did a brilliant job of that to make that one stick. So let's go back to the leading pack, and that is Stefan Wessels. Now, Stefan Wessels, when he's good, he's amazing. When it doesn't work out, somehow he really battles. It just doesn't come together. And you can't believe it's the same driver, because he goes from one extreme to the other. Well, let's hope for his sake that this one's going to all stick together, because he really needs a biggie right now. There's no doubt that if he can pick up a very good result here, he can stay right up where it counts in the top end of the leaderboard as such. Ferrier, that won race number 1, not that far behind him. Look at that. There's Ferrier, there's Gaza, and there's a Benji M as we go on board with the Benji M. Let's see how that one looks. Oh, both hands on the steering wheel. He's driving that one very, very hard, is Benji M. Remember, he picked up full points for the first race of the day, for the sprint race. He doesn't want to drop down now as far as 4th. that's gonna sort of like hurt what he achieved initially, and he is very close. He's just 3.2 off the back end of Gareth. Now we know that Gareth can be very, very consistent. He knows what to do, when to do, and how to do it, and often he's the man that gets it all right and makes sure that at the end of the night he comes up kudos with lots and lots of results and points on the board. That is what he really needs right now as he works his way around the island. Look at that, closing up on the back end of Gaza. It's very, very similar. Oh, he almost touched those sausage curbs. Those sausage curbs, they're 90 degrees. Oh, now he's got the run. Now he has got the run. He's closing up. Is the line going to be closed off? Gaza's very confident. Doesn't close off the line whatsoever. Now, remember, these LDMH cars, they are notably quicker than the LMP3s. And for that reason, you will see that they will get away from the LMP3 cars reasonably quickly. So let's go to the front end of the field. There we go. It is Stefan Wessels that leads them out, using the whole track and more. Neil Ferrier's on a roll. I haven't ever seen Neil Ferrier do something like this, but Neil Ferrier, having won the first race and now in the second position, he's looking brilliant. Gaza closed down by Benji M. If we look back from Gaza's car, that's what it looks like. Oh, if Benji says, let's go, boy, let's get going, he's flashing the lights, he's having a rave of a time. He's Benji M all over the back of Gaza. And when a man starts flashing the lights like that, look at the build of that motor car. What a lovely shaped motor car that is. It really looks ominous and mean with those lights. So he's all over the back there of the man right in front of him. That's Gaza, and it's Benji right in there behind him. It's right on board with Benjamin McCluskey, and let's see, can he make that maneuver through the complex of corners they go. That's not an easy complex, that whatsoever. Going through Maggots, Beckett's, and then Chapel on the way now down the Hanger Straight as we ride on board with Benji M. Is it clear on the inside line? Yes, it is. It's clear on the left-hand side. Yes, it is. Is it clear behind him? Oh, no, sir. Not at all. There is Gaza right in there behind him. And Gaza using the curbstones and a little bit more. But there's another fight that's happening, and that's just in front of them. That is that fight. Look at that. Stefan Wessels getting stretched out. And it's Neil Ferrier that's flashing the lights at him, saying, you better get a move on, cuzzy, because I be a coming. There is no doubt that Ferrier wants to look for a double header. But if they slow one another down, that means that Benji M is going to be able to close up. If Benji M closes up, he will bring Gaza with him as well. That'll then become a four-way battle. So Stefan Wessels leading out from Neil, from Benji, from Gaza, then Paul Williams. He had a lovely first race. Ended up fourth, if I remember correctly. Then we got Jochen Sigurd coming over the hill. That is Igor Martinez. Then a little bit further back, that will be Adam McCain in the sister car to the Sharkman. And there is Mark Sykes. Then we go to our LMP3s, and that is led out by the man that was second overall coming in the championship with race number 5. We've gone through 5 already. So that is Jorge Bentes. Mark Baker, the man that leads out, is now second overall out there on circuit. Behind Mark Baker is the winner of race number 1, Owen Patterson. Now, Owen has gotten very, very quick of late. He's in third position, and Owen is just about where he needs to be right now, because that man directly in front of him, that is his first target. If he can get past the 53 of Mark Baker, that means he is heading out, the man that leads out this championship. Don't count out Owen Patterson. Clibbins, the Sharkman, is right in there, riding on board with Nick Clibbins. He's also got the headlights flashing. Look at that. Awesome stuff. Through Abbey. Through Farm Curve they go. From Farm Curve, they're going to make that very, very tight right-hander. Up towards the loop they go now. Into that left-hand loop. And away they go down the Wellington Straight. Lovely piece of circuit that they're on here now. Sorry, that's the Hanger Straight. Down the Hanger Straight they go. And then into Stowe Corner. Through Vale they will run. Now it's going to be into that very sharp 90-degree left-hander. From there they turn right through Club Corner. A 90-degree, a little straight. Another almost 90-degree, and out then into the Hanger Straight they go. Through the Hanger Straight they go now. Just a light lift. Bang, back on the gas again you go. Through Abbey. And then through Farm Curve. Take that hard right-hander Vale. Oh, and he spins it around. And that's going to cost Nick Clibbons. He was looking so good. He was in fact sitting in third overall in class. But the Battle Royal is actually now moved to up front. That's Benjamin McCliskey that's in that third position. Now looking back from Benjamin McCliskey, there's a bit of space. That's not too bad. But looking forward from Benjamin McCliskey, yum. This is what he sees in front of him, and he fancies his chances. Somebody forgot to tell him that Neil Ferrier was actually the man that was the guy to be caught in race number 1, because he's looking very racy on the back end of Neil Ferrier. Just 0.4 of a second. Stefan Wessels at the front of the pack, where we're accustomed to seeing him, and he's doing a pretty good job of holding sway. Let's get a battle box up there. We can see exactly what the gaps are. From Wessels back to Ferrier's 0.3. Then Benjamin McCliskey, the man we're riding on board, and he's got Gaza 1.3 behind him. So if we look back from there, that is the distance back to Gaza. So Gaza's actually battling a bit to hold on to that front group of 3 cars, and that's now going to become a 3-way battle unless Stefan Wessels can in fact get away. The man that's got a bit of a lonely run right now is Paul Williams. Paul Williams finds himself in that very lonely 5th position. He's 11 places up. But yeah, having got that far, how do you get to the back of Gaza? That's a 5-second run. Then if you get to the back of Gaza, that's another 1.6 to get back to that grouping up front. Let's go back to our LMP3s. Jorge Bentes, after a disaster last week, is looking pretty good this time around. Jorge Bentes staying ahead of the championship leader, Mark Baker. Then the winner of race number 1 in there behind that is Owen Patterson. Nigel Stock in the 4th position. Now that's pretty good, because Nigel's in the beginning of the season, he wasn't really with the front runners at all. Well, he's managed to turn that around with lots of practice, maybe a bit of new equipment, but Nigel Stock is looking pretty good. And with the Sharkman, Nick Clibbons, having made that error, he finds himself with a bit of a gap. Mark Sykes is into the pits. Mark Sykes is making that compulsory stop, and he's gone into the pits, and well, it's going to drop him a long way down, but he'll probably come out with a lot of open space in front of him. Mark Sykes into the pit lane. We ride with Nick Clibbons. He's got behind him that man, Sean Skitter. And Sean is down in 6th overall in class in the number 12 car. You can see Sykes is already 33, 34, 35 seconds that he's been in the pits. Alan McCain is on the back end of Igor Martinez. Just keep an eye on the right-hand top corner. That's all the people that make it possible for us to do what we do. Joyce Designs and Mark Sykes and Higgins Automotive. These are the guys that put their money where their mouth is and just make it possible for us to do this. Oh, look at that. Through that complex of corners. Running it very, very tight. And Alan McCain is all over the back of Igor Martinez. Mark Sykes is still in the pit lane. Can you believe it? Mark Sykes is right there in the pit lane and he has not come out yet. There he sits. Is there damage that he's fixing on the motor car? The 666 is standing for a long time. He's dropped all the way to the back end of the pack. That doesn't look good whatsoever. Back to the front end of the LMP3s. Jorge Benitez from Mark Baker, from Owen Patterson. Owen running a slightly wider corner. There's Nigel Stock. Nick is right in there behind him. Sean not that far back either. And then Mike Ridner has dropped off the back end of the pack. That's 10.1 seconds further down. But we've got to go back. Mark Sykes still sitting in the pit. So something's gone wrong for Marky Mark. That's for sure. Something is not right. Because he's been sitting in the pits now for a long time. And that takes him completely out of the points. He's not going to be into the big bucks. That is for sure. That's right on board with Benjamin McCluskey. He's got Ferrier and Vessels in front, but they are going to be picking up that back marker. This is where you need to be close. Very close. Taking that long drive down the hangar straight. Oh, getting completely sideways is Skitter in front of him in the LMP3. Remember, Skitter is in his own race at this stage of the fight. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 6th, 7th in class. So he doesn't want to. Oopsie, getting too much power on there was Benji M. That is the reason why it's gone up to 0.56 between himself and Neil Ferrier. They're going to be closing up now on yet more traffic, and that's how you close up. You make use of that traffic. Bang, bang, they touch one another. Oh, he just misses that one. Just misses that one. Gazza's the one that gets himself up into the second position, with those two having that tete-a-tete. That's my word for the day, with that tete-a-tete. That means that Benji M has gone to the front. Let's book back from Benji. He's got Gazza right in there with him. Now, traditionally, McCluskey, Benji M would be able to pull away at the front end of the pack, and that is going to be what he's going to be trying to do. Can Benji M go and pull away at the front end of the field and just make it a little bit easier for himself? Gazza's got the hammer down. He is really tonking it. Is Gazza. There you can see the gap between the two of them. There is Benji. There is Gazza. There is Stefan only now. And once again, problems for Stefan Vessels and Neil Ferrier, the man that did so well in race number 1. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if Nick Ferrier will actually find a way to get just a little bit closer. 44 for McCluskey, 45 for Gazza, a half a second. That's the difference in the last lap, and that is why you've got that gap. And Stefan Vessels goes into the pits, so he might have a bit of damage on his motor car. As Vessels is going to go into the pits, so will Neil Ferrier. There he comes in now. You can see the pit lane limiter is on. The lights is busy flashing as the two of them work their way into the pit lane. Vessels in front, Neil Ferrier behind. That's Neil Ferrier that you see there, and he comes and stops in his bay. Now, Jochen Sigurd works his way straight through, so he moves up into an overall 4th position. But remember, that overall 4th position is without doing the pit stops. Everybody that's up front ahead of Vessels, Ferrier, and Vessels and Ferrier in real terms, because Alan McCain, he's now come into the pits as Alan McCain. So everybody that's ahead of Vessels and Ferrier, they still have to do a pit stop. So Benji M is the man that is going to be on the bubble coming out of the pits. Here he comes now. That is Stefan Vessels. He comes out underneath the subway, and he brings with him none other than Neil Ferrier. So the two of them run bumper to bumper. Now the catch is going to be, with that offs that they had, can Benji M, can he get in and out of the pits in time to recover the front end of this race. They are almost 19 minutes into it. This is the two frequent flyers. We can have a look to see what the times are, but it's not going to give you an indication at the moment now because of the fact that the guys have been into the pits. So we're going to have to wait and see how that one's going to play itself out. Where is Benji M? Let's go and have a look at a track map. And that is where he is right now, on his way through Abbey. Going to work his way through Farm Curve and up towards the loop. So he's got a fair size gap between himself and Gaza. There's Gaza directly behind him, but a fair size gap. The two of them are quite fine in terms of Paul Williams, because Paul's still got to go into the pits. Jochen Sigert, there he comes now. And he's still got Mark Baker and Owen Patterson in front of him. That is third and fourth in the LMP3 class. So he's going to come up to lap them in the not too distant future. So he's actually doing one hell of a job right now. Igor Martinez is into the pits. He's gone in already. And, well, he's there behind the wall. We can't see him on that shot. There he sits, and he's waiting to get out there. And then, in fact, there you see Mark Sykes in front of him. Marky Mark is still sitting in the pit area. So, I think he's completely out of it. There's no more joy for him whatsoever. Benjamin McCluskey looking back towards Gareth. As I said, traditionally, once he's out front, he normally manages to get away from whatever is behind him. And that is exactly what Benji M is doing. He's starting to eke out slowly but surely a bit of a gap. A 143.6 or 144.5. That's 9/10 of a second that Benji M has taken out of Gaza. Gareth Williams, there he is. Let's go one place further down. Here he comes through now. That is Paul Williams. Do you remember, he's still got to go into the pits. So does that man, Jochen Sigert. But that man doesn't. He's already been in and out of the pits. So it won't be a problem for him at all. Is Benji M going to go in this time around? 21 minutes of this race has gone already. And he leads out from Gaza. Paul's going to fancy not being too far down the road. There he comes out of that previous corner now. That ahead of Jochen. Then 33 seconds further back, we only get to Stefan Wessels. And Stefan brings with him Neil Ferrier, the winner of race number 1. They need to get the hammer down and get it down very, very hard if they want to be able to, after everybody's been in and out of the pits, be able to come out tops. Wessels did a 144.3, a 144.8, 5/10, hence the gap you see growing between Neil and Stefan. A 43.4, oh, that's very, very quick. A 43.4 and a 43.8 for the boys up front. So Benji M, he is matching what is being done by Stefan Wessels and taking a second out of Stefan Wessels on that last lap. I'm going to predict that when Benjamin McCluskey comes into the pits, he will come out in the lead of this race. I'm going to predict that when Gaza goes in, yeah, we're going to take a chance. I say when Gaza goes in, Gaza will also come out ahead of Stefan Wessels and Neil Ferrier, but I think that is going to be pretty close. 22 minutes, 23 minutes into this one. Let's go to the LMP3s. Jorge Bentes leads them out, the man that's second overall in the championship to Mark Baker. But the man that's collecting points this weekend is that man, Owen Patterson. Won the first race, finds himself ahead of Mark Baker, who we now ride on board with. And Owen Patterson is doing a lovely job. 2 weeks back with the previous round, he was also in fine format. Now, if Owen Patterson had been in this kind of format at the beginning of the season, he would have been one of the big hitters in the LMP3 class right now. He lost a bit of time there, but having lost a bit of time, Mark wasn't in the right position to take advantage of that as such. So that didn't really make much difference to the standings between the two of them as they work their way around. And look at that, just playing with that steering wheel. On the gas, off the gas. Smooth and neat, smooth and neat. Get on the gas as quick as you can. Miss that sausage, go out into the front main they go. Hammer down. Across the start-finish line. Down towards turn and number 1. Into Cops they go. Out of Cops. Using the whole circuit and a bit more. Up towards Maggots. Left-hander into Maggots. Right-hander. Beckett's. Smooth on the gas. Through Beckett's. And now through the Hanger Straight under the Johnny Walker Bridge they go. Down towards Stowe. This is a high-speed entry into this corner. Hard on the brakes. Come down through the gears. Into Stowe they come. Out of Stowe. Through Vale. Coming towards Club. Well, that is one way of doing it. The other way is you dive into the pits. And in comes Mark Baker. What does Jorge Benitez do? Jorge just keeps on trucking. Jorge goes through. What about Owen Patterson? Owen Patterson's gone through. What about Nick Cleveland? Nick Cleveland is coming through. What about Nigel Stock? Nigel comes through as well. So it's only Mike Riegner that's still on the track, that's in there behind them. Let's have a look at the pit stops now. How does it play out in the LMDH? The top 4 have still not been in. So it's going to be Benjamin McCluskey that's going to... When is he going to pull the plug and go in? At the moment now, I think he's still got some of the best lap times that is out there. These last one, the 43.6. There's nobody else in the 43. So Benji M's up dusting and disappearing at the front end of the pack. Gazza doesn't have an answer for him. In fact, 3.7 seconds back to Gazza. That's growing. Then back to Paul Williams, who has not made a pit stop yet. That's another 10 seconds further back to Paul Williams. And then just to make it a little bit more interesting, even further back is Jochen Sigurd. Now, Jochen Sigurd still finds himself a half a minute. But remember, those pit stops times is going to be... Let's have a look at the pit times. 33, 34, 35, 38. That half a minute's not going to be enough. It's definitely not going to be enough. So McCluskey, that started on the front row of the grid. Benji M started at the front and he still leads out. Does Benjamin McCluskey. Gazza started in 6th, started in 7th, in fact, as McCluskey goes past Baker. That's a LMDH lapping LMP3. So from 7th up to 2nd position is Gazza. I see Owen Patterson's gone into pits. Nick Cleveland has gone into the pits as well. 13 positions up is Paul Williams. But remember, that is without the stop. And that's what's going to make the difference for Paul Williams. Although he's done very well, as has Jochen Sigurd. But... with 29 seconds between Jochen and Stefan Wessels, I do believe that Wessels will definitely go past Jochen. Probably go past, let me see, 29, 33. Paul Williams, it's going to be touch and go, eh? Paul Williams might end up ahead of Stefan Wessels. Not impossible. Nick Cleveland's on his way out of the pits. That comes through underneath the subway and bang, out into view. The Demon Tweaks car comes back out on circuit. The Sharkman, Nick Cleveland's 4th overall in his class. But the man he's got to chase down is in fact this man, Jorge Benitez. He started in 2nd, he's up 1 position. Nigel Stock down 7. Owen Patterson down 3. Nick himself down 1. Mark Baker, where he started is where he is right now. Paul Williams has gone in. Paul Williams has gone into the pits. So where is Jochen Sigurd? Jochen goes through and past him. Where is Stefan Wessels? Here comes Stefan Wessels now. Goes past the entrance. He works his ways through and he'll definitely go past Paul Williams. There he goes through now. Where is Williams? Williams is still in the pits. And he will move up ahead. Yes, he does. Does Neil Ferrier come through with him? Yep, there's Neil Ferrier. He comes ahead of Williams as well. Williams has just come out of the pits. He came out from underneath the subway. So how does that leave it now in terms of pit stops? Well, the front three have still not been in. And that is, Jorge Bentes is in, and Nigel Stock is in the pits as well. That is first and second in the LMP3 class. Let's see if we can pick up that pit lane shot for you. There is the two of them in the pits, Jorge Bentes and Nigel Stock. Owen Patterson, where is Owen? Here comes Owen Patterson now. And remember, Owen Patterson's going to come blasting past them. Well, Jorge Bentes is on his way out of the pits. Can he hold on to that one? There goes both of them in the same shot. Jorge Bentes is going to come out behind Owen Patterson. So it's going to be Owen that's going to lead them out. Behind him will be Jorge Bentes. Behind that, not in the same shot, will be Nigel Stock. Then we've got a little bit further back there comes Nick the Sharkman Clevelands. Only then do we see the top contender Baker. And then behind that is a Sean's locking up those cold tires. Now Jochen Sigurd has gone into the pits. Here comes Stefan Wessels. So he comes through that last left and right hander. He should be ahead of Sigurd at the end of the front main. Sigurd is still standing, still in the pits, and there is Wessels that goes through. That's the exit to the pits on the left-hand side. And Sigurd is going to drop down behind Williams as well. Wow, so Williams holds on to that fifth position. And that ahead of Jochen Sigurd that's standing still for a long time in the pits. He still hasn't moved. Only now is he on his way out of the pits. He'll come up into sight. There he comes. Jochen Sigurd. He's very slow coming out of the pits. Is something not right? Took a while for him to get up to pace. Benji M has gone into the pits. And so has Gaza as well. It won't be that far behind him. There he comes around the corner. That's the two of them have come in. Now the question is, will they get back out in front of Stefan Wessels? Because Stefan Wessels will be closing all the time while they are standing. There you see Mark Sykes. He's still standing. He's not managed to get going again at all. So I think he's just bailed out of this one completely. Look how long they're standing. And where is Stefan Wessels? He's got to be getting pretty close by now. They still standing still. Gaza and Benji M. Where is Stefan? Here comes Stefan Wessels now. I think Benji M is going to get Gaza and Benji are probably going to be ahead of Stefan. Out of the pits already. Benji M. That just shows you the gap that he managed to pull there. And there comes Gaza now as well. He's going to work his way out. Now both of them. Where is Stefan? Stefan not yet in view. He's still a long way back. There comes Stefan Wessels. So everybody has now made their pit stops, and that's going to make for some interesting stuff. Benjamin McCliskey has put up the fastest lap. Everybody is finished with their pit stops. Gains and losses. 5 up for Gaza, 12 up for Stefan, 1 up for Neil. Paul Williams, 11 places up. What a drive by him. That is utterly amazing that he's gone up 11 positions. Probably his best showing so far in Season 5. And where are we? We are at the iconic Silverstone circuit. Just look at that one. Abbey, Farm Curve, Village, Loop, Aintree, Wellington Straight, Brooklands, Luffield, Woodcote, Cops, Maggots, Beckett's. All those names. Chapel Curve, Hanger, Stowe, Vale, Club. All those magical corners is in there. And the guys are loving racing at this circuit. We're 33.5 minutes in. Everybody has done their pit stops. The fastest lap, a 1:42.52 by Benji M. He is the fastest man out there. Next man up behind him, Gareth's doing a pretty good job, I must say. They've got Stefan Wessels, and then the next one behind that is Neil Ferrier. There comes Paul Williams. Well, he's not that far off them. Paul Williams had a pretty decent day today. Yes, he's 7 seconds further back, but that's not too much of a train smash. I think Paul Williams will be pretty comfortable with what he's managed to achieve so far. Let's go back to the LMP3s, and it's Owen Patterson that's having yet another stonker out there. He's ahead of the man that was a second in the championship going into tonight's racing. That's Jorge Benitez. Nigel Stock finds himself ahead of Mark Baker. That must work for him, the Hot Wheels entry. Can't miss out on Nigel Stock. 8 positions down, but still in a decent position. Third overall in class. Finds himself with a reasonable gap. Back to the Shockman, Nick Clibbins. Back to the Baker, Mark Baker. And then right in the background, just coming out there into that straight, the next-gen racing car of Sean Skitter, as he gets blasted past there by Gazza. Remember, that's LMDH as opposed to a LMP3. So Sean Skitter, the next man that's going to come past him, will in fact be Stefan Wessels. Let's go and see what that's going to look like from Stefan's point of view, as we ride on board with Stefan Wessels. He will be closing up on Sean Skitter, LMP3 being hounded down by a LMDH. There's like just no ways you can hold this man off. Never mind the driver, the car as well is going to go past, giving him lots of space. Opens up into the front end, and look at that, already got a bit of a gap. The turning and accelerating and decelerating ability of that LMDH is just so superior to the LMP3. So look at that, just blasts away, does Wessels. And even at that pace, it's not really enough right now, because Wessels is 5 seconds off the back of Gazza. Let's work on 4.8 from Gazza to Benny, and let's work on a 4.8 from Stefan to Gazza. Let's work on 3.1 from Neil to the back end of Stefan, and that's how the LMDHs are going to play out with 36 minutes gone of the hour. 1 hour race from Silverstone. Classic Silverstone circuit. It's brilliant for anybody to have the opportunity to race on this circuit. Owen Patterson leading out the LMP3s. He's 1 position down. He's been lapped by the front runners, but because it's different classes. But Owen Patterson, 8 seconds. Let's see if we can ever get Jorge into the same clip. Nope, not even in the same clip is Jorge Benitez now. He's going to get closed down by Benjamin McCluskey, and very, very quickly as well. Here comes Benji M. Look at that ominous look in the front of that motor car. Just blasts up the inside, well, blasts around the outside of that corner. Benji M. How smooth is he through there, staying away from that sausage curbs. And once that LMDH gets the hammer down, it's like you standing still in the main road, and a car comes past you at 60 k's an hour. He just blows around you, and into the distance he goes. And look at that. He's just a dot in the future. And Jorge Benitez is lying second in class. And there you see how that LMDH goes away from him. Nice and smooth. Very low revs in that section. Obviously using the higher gear to not end up losing the back end. That's probably a second gear run that he's going through there is Jorge Benitez in the number 10 car, second overall in class. Bit of a gap between himself and Nigel, bit of a gap between himself and Nick, reasonable gap back to Mark Baker, and that's how they play themselves out with 21 minutes to go. Let's have a look at that fastest lap times. well, the last lap times, 44, 44, 44. Neil is falling slightly off. He's 6 tenths slower than what Stefan Wessels is. Stefan Wessels 2 tenths quicker than Gaza, but 2 tenths on 5.5 seconds, 39 minutes into a 1 hour race. That's not enough to be able to make an impact there whatsoever. And Benjamin McCliskey finds himself 9 tenths of a second, almost a full 9 tenths of a second ahead on that last lap that he took out of Gareth. So there is just nobody in the same class as Benji M at this stage of the fight on this specific round number 5 of Proto's season number 5 for Next Gen. Benjamin McCliskey becoming the man to catch. Initially, we thought it was going to be all about Stefan Wessels. No, sir. When that man comes to play, it's a different story. Gaza doing a pretty decent job. There comes Stefan as well. Neil trying to work his way through the traffic. He goes around Jorge Bentes. Jorge stays completely out of his way. Jorge's in his own battle. 10 seconds off the back end of the LMP3, the leader being Owen Patterson, the winner of race number 1. We've lost out on Mike Ridner, and we lost out on Mark Sykes as well. Both of them are in the pits and going no further as we keep an eye on Neil Ferrier. Let's have a look from inside that car. Yeah, there's just no Stefan Wessels in front of him. There Wessels disappears around the corner in front of him. That's a very big mountain to climb, and that's why you use all the circuit and more. It's very tantalizing to see Wessels ahead of him, knowing that he beat Wessels in race number 1. He'll fancy his chances to maybe catch up, but right now he's not getting it right. He was 4.2 off. He is still 4.2 off. So Wessels has got the hammer down, but Wessels also, remember I said 5.4. Stefan back to Gaza. It hasn't closed. It's remained pretty much exactly the same. One lap, this one slightly quicker. The next lap, that one slightly quicker. But in real terms, there's not that much difference. Oh, that's a very high sausage curve that runs alongside the circuit there. Nice short change, 4th gear up to 5th gear, past that start finish line, through Cops, going up towards Maggots. Oh, pick up the back marker. Well, it's not a back marker, that is the leader of the LMP3s, and he's not going to give way for you. You got to find your way around him, because he is leading his class and he needs every little piece of advantage. Oh, what a save! That has got to be the save of the race. Neil Ferrier, what a save. He had those arms cook-sisted up to be able to get that one. And he just lifted a little bit off the gas, but his heart must have been sitting in his throat after winning race number 1, finding himself chasing down Stefan Wessels, 4th position, cutting that corner as much as he possibly can, and then almost throwing it at the scenery. That was very, very close. But you can't blame Owen Patterson. 10-second gap, because he's not wasting and losing time with the LMDH cars going past him. He's running his own race, stays on the line. You find a way around me. That's how the rules work. I don't have to change my line. I stay on my line. You find a way around me. And that is exactly what he did, but almost at major cost to Neil Ferrier. What is he doing? Oh my goodness. Neil Ferrier just went straight. It's like he had brake failure. And he goes straight back to the pits. Well, well, well. I didn't expect that one. And, well, Neil Ferrier, did something goes wrong with his kit? I don't understand that one. He's in the pits. That was just flat foot straight into the barrier. Did he maybe have a change of heart, that he was slightly irritated and just kept his foot flat? Surely not. And he's still in the pits. So the winner of race number 1, standing in the pit lane, and well, we were riding on board just at the right time, because yeah, That was hectic stuff. Well, we'll try and find out. We'll let you know when they come back for round number 6 of Proto's Next Gen 2024. There's still one more round to go. And, well, we'll find out in the interim exactly how that one played itself out. But Benji M doing everything that he needs to hold on to that gap. 7 seconds that he has on Gaza. He took it from 5.4 up to 7. He, in fact, has then taken 5.4 up to 6.1 for Stefan Wessel. So the way that they are is the fastest in first, the second fastest in second, and the third fastest is then in a third. Then Paul Williams has actually put up a pretty decent time. He's kind of trying to hang on to the lap times that has been done by the cars in front, but he's done a 46.8, so Paul is like 2 seconds slower than the guys in front. He needs something to go wrong with the cars in front of him to be able to go any further forward. Jochen Sichert, 22 seconds further back. Nothing's going to change for him with just 15 minutes to go, unless something like what happened with Neil Ferrier, who is still in the pits. He might have had a brake pedal failure. He might have also had an internet link problem as well. That's quite possible. I can't see him just losing his humor. How's that for that? That's my saying for the day. Losing his humor for what has happened out there on circuit. Igor Martinez, lovely coloured motor car. That is in fact a 2.1 modified saloon oval track car back here in South Africa. It's got that exact same lines to it. It's very classic. The yellow with the black at the bottom with the red pinstriping in between it. Lovely look. That 46 seconds further back is Alan McCain with the sister car of the Sharkman Nick Clibbins. Lovely looking design, that the Demon Tweaks design. Looks pretty good to me. Owen Patterson still leads them out. Neil Ferrier is in fact still in the pits, so whatever went wrong has kept him in the pits. He's not been able to get out of that. Owen Patterson, 10 seconds. Probably won't even get them in the same shot. Let's see. No, we can't even get them in the same shot. 10 seconds further back between Owen Patterson and Jorge Bentes. Nigel Stock comes into picture, and he's got a problem. It's called Nick Clibbins. Nick Clibbins all over his back bumper. Nick's looking for a possible fourth. Now we know that Nick is very quick, but Nick sometimes does make mistakes here and there and goes off every now and again. It does happen. It's one of those things. If you don't try hard, well, like to say in the classics, if you never hit the barrier, you've never tried half enough. Well, he's looking pretty good to try and make the passing maneuver here. Nick Clibbins on that inside line. Nigel Stock is confident. I'm quick enough. I'll stay on the racing line. Surprising that the Sharkman didn't make use of the slipstream, because there is a reasonable slipstream on these LMP3s. Now he's getting himself into a attacking position, getting as close as he can, but getting good drive out of the corner was Nigel Stock in the pink and white Mean Machine. Can he carry it through there? Yes, he does. Nigel Stock doing enough to hold off the Sharkman Nick Clibbins. A half a second between them. 47.5 minutes into this one already. Igor Martinez will be closing up from behind with the LMDH car, which obviously is a lot quicker in a straight line. You'll see once they go out into the straight, there you can see that 4 seconds starts to tumble. Oh, doing a little dive there onto the back of Nigel. Now he's in the best position he's been in so far. Nigel under the pressure, going just a little bit wide, trying to get the hammer down as quick as he possibly could. Got a little bit of oversteer on that, had to bail out of that as Alan McCain has gone back into the pits. That'll be his second pit stop, so he must have picked up some damage somewhere along the ride. Well, we're right on board with Nick the Sharkman Clibbins in there behind Nigel Stock, duking it out for that third and fourth position. the rest of that is the closest gap of everybody. You'll see Neil Ferrier is now dropped right off to the back end of the pack. So Mark Sykes, Mike Ridner, and Neil Ferrier. Unfortunately, Neil having won. Look at that. As I said, Igor Martinez will just blast past them with that LMDH. It doesn't affect their fight whatsoever. It didn't help Nigel. It didn't cost Nigel. It was two completely different scenarios. It just happened to be on a similar piece of circuit at the same time. Now, that's the closest he's ever been. That is the closest the Sharkman has been to Nigel Stock. He wants that third position. He's got to carry good pace through this corner, and he knows it. And he does it as well. Now, will Nigel make any errors? Remember, there's no problem for Nigel for what's in front of him. In front of him is Igor Martinez in a LMDH that's just gone past them, so not a problem that he's going to get held up whatsoever. But Nick Clibbins is definitely putting the pressure onto Nigel Stock. This is the biggest battle out there. A 43.684 by Benjamin McCliskey. He's on the wrong side of the track now. He's going to have a look, but it's not going to make any difference for him. Oh, now he gets himself onto the right-hand side of the track, and that's where you'll make the passing maneuver. Nick Clibbins passed Nigel Stock. He worked hard for that one, and it's not all over yet, because here comes Nigel. Oh, Nigel just dives out very much on the last. Side by side, it's going to be the right-hander. Nigel will cut in very neatly there behind him. He's got to go for the left-hand side of the circuit, because the next corner is in fact a left-hander, and it's been blocked off. Nick Clibbins blocks off that line. He's done all the hard work to get through. There's just 10 more minutes to go, and Nick Clibbins works his way up into that one position further up. Now, they're still 3 seconds back from Jorge Bentes. There is Jorge Bentes. Nick Clibbins did a 154.8 and a 155.2. 4 tenths that Nick Clibbins took out of Jorge Bentes on the last lap. You're going to have to keep an eye on that one, because that could be a bit of a turn up for the books. Is it possible that Nick Clibbins might just be able to close up a 155.4, a 155.0, 4 tenths, 9 minutes? No, that's not going to be enough. He's got to turn up the wick just a little bit further. Remember this guy? His name is Benji M. He's the man that leads out, and leads out very handsomely by 10 seconds from Gareth Gaza Williams. And he's got almost 10 seconds on Stefan Wessels, who's 9 seconds further back. Paul Williams finds himself another 21 further back. And then another 26 further back is Jochen Sigurd. So, yeah, it's pretty much been decided at this stage of the fight that who's the quick boys. Flashing the lights is Sigurd, as he is saying, come on, buddy, you better get going, because I want to get past you. Right in there behind Paul Williams, flashing the lights, and he's trying to intimidate the man in front of him. Paul Williams having nothing of that. He just takes his line and he says, you want to come past me? You try and find a way past me. I ain't going to give it to you. There's only 7 minutes and 50 seconds left. And for that 7 minutes, it's going to be all about these two that are so close to one another. Flashing, saying, come on, let me get through. And it's not going to happen. He wants a bit of space to be opened up for him, but it's not going to happen. He just keeps on flashing the lights. Does Jochen Sigurd on the man that's directly in front of him. And he's saying, come on, please, 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 just make a bit of space there for me. And it's not happening for him. He's going to try that outside line now, but that's not going to work for him. It'll make him slower into the next corner. Desperately trying to get his way through there. Just keeps on flashing the lights. He doesn't stop flashing the lights. So let's have a look from the top end down exactly how this one's played itself out. It's Benji M that is up-dusted and it disappeared. 11 seconds further back, there comes Gareth Gaza. 9 seconds further back, we have Stefan Wessels, and he has not been able to close in. 22 seconds further back, not even in the same shot. There is Paul Williams. He's coming out onto that start-finish line. Is Paul Williams. 25 further back is Jochen Sigurd. He's got himself involved with a whole headlight flashing session there. Jochen Sigurd. Then we've got Igor Martinez. He's 18 seconds further back. 1 minute 29 further back is Alan McCain. Maybe, I don't know if he's flashing his lights all the time or he's forgotten to switch the flashes off, because those lights just keep on flashing all the time, even though no matter what he does. Then a little bit further back, the man that leads out on the LMP3s, and I think you'll be very happy with this one. Owen Patterson, a 153.996. The next man behind him is in fact Jorge Benitez. There he comes through now. Let's see, what does Jorge do? And yeah, that is Benji M that's just come past him. A 153.9. So Jorge 144.4, 154.4 to a 153.9. So Jorge Benitez 13 seconds behind Owen Patterson and losing ground to him as well. So I think that with just 4 minutes left, 5 minutes left, I think that one's pretty much done and dusted, barring unforeseen circumstances. Not that far behind the Sharkman, Nick Clibbons, 2.1 there behind him, a 53.9, a 54.4. That's a half a second that Nick Clibbons has taken out of Jorge Benitez. That's quite a bit, but then again, you need 4 laps. There isn't 4 laps in this one. Still, they've done 32. They're not going to get to 36 laps. Not with this amount of time. If they carry on the way they are now, you'll more than likely find that Nick Clibbons will be very close to the back of Jorge Benitez for that second and third positions. Either way, still behind Owen Patterson. We see Nigel Stock in the pink mean machine just behind him. There's Nigel. And behind Nigel is Mark Baker. So Mark Baker not having his best outing, but he's done well enough through the season to be right up at the sharp end of the field where it really counts. 56 minutes and 11 seconds that's gone as we watch Nick Clibbons trying his best to close down on Jorge Benitez, and he's doing just that. Well, he's caught him very quickly. Sticks it up on the inside and gets past the back marker. So Nick Clibbons in that third position. He's in third, and the man that he needs to get to is in fact that man there, Jorge Benitez. He's got Gazza Williams between the two of them, but Gazza will get past Jorge without too much problem. Look how he closes up once he gets into the open spaces. He'll just blow straight past Jorge Benitez. But that's exactly what he needs. He must climb in behind that LMDH and use the slipstream like that. Pick up just that little bit of extra kilometers an hour by picking up that. Although it's momentarily, I mean, it, the guy pulls away from you so fast. It's not very easy to make that much use of it, but every tenth is what makes the difference when you come across the line at the end. There's no doubt about it. Jorge Benitez, 13 seconds of Owen Patterson, but not that far ahead of Nick Clibbons, and Clibbons is running out of time. There's only 2.5 minutes to go, and Benitez has done a 54.4 and a 52.2, 2 tenths out of 1.9 seconds with 2 minutes to go. Nope, I think that's going to stay the way that it is. Mark Sykes, Mike Ridner, and Neil Ferrier. All of them are in the pits, and we were riding on board with Neil Ferrier when he just went straight and plowed it into the wall and wrote off the car 3 times in one accident. Is that possible? Right of a car 3 times in one accident? Well, that is exactly what we did. He was doing 277 kilometers an hour, just kept his foot flat, just kept the steering wheel straight and just buried it into the barrier, completely demolishing that motor car. 1.5 minutes to go for Benji M. That's done a masterclass effort here on everybody else. Gaza 13 seconds further back, does not have an answer for him, but still kudos to Gaza because he's managed to hold out the highly acclaimed Stefan Wessels, and there's few that can do that at all. Stefan Wessels, when he's on a roll, you don't stay with him very easily. A little bit further back is Paul Williams, outside of the top 3, but a 4th place will work. He was in 4th in the sprint race as well, so 2 4ths for the day. I mean, you don't have to be embarrassed about coming up behind McCliskey, Williams and Wessels, because I mean, at the end of the day, they are the boys to catch. There's no doubt about it. Jochen Sigert in the 248 as he works his way around. Let's get a track map up. We can see exactly where is Benji M. I think it's only right we do that last lap with Benji M. There's just a half a minute to go, and then it will be all over, bar the shouting. A master blaster effort by this man. The last 3 meetings, he's just gone better and better and better. I don't know what's changed, but he has become the man to beat, because Benjamin McCliskey is literally burning everybody around him. He's got to do one more lap. Let's do that lap with Benjamin McCliskey. Just look how smooth he is. Benji M doing what he does best. Just eating up the tar. 14.4 ahead of Gaza. Another 13 ahead of Stefan. Another 24 ahead of Paul Williams. That's a massive, massive drive by Benji M. He's just gone past Igor Martinez. That means that he's put Martinez a lap down, in fact. Wow. That's a masterclass effort. Here he comes through now. The 1 hour is up. Comes through just one more time. Going to be coming up towards that start-finish line with a big, big smile on his face. He knows he's done it all right from start to finish. A master blaster effort by this man, Benjamin McCliskey. Underneath the Johnny Walker Bridge he goes for the last time. Through Stowe. Long right-hander. There's the entrance to the pits. The left, the right, and the elation as he comes around that last corner. Benjamin McCliskey takes the win. His best drive for season 5 in Protos, no doubt about it. Gaza, as always, in the top 3. Very, very competitive in the NXTGEN colors. That was a bit loud as he came through the corner. Gaza 15 seconds behind. Another 15 seconds further back. Stefan Wessels will be scratching his head and saying, how does Benjamin McCliskey take a half a minute out of me? Gonna have to go and do some practicing and get some setups going there. Stefan Wessels takes away the third. 25 seconds further back is Paul Williams. I think you'll be quite happy with it. I mean, let's be honest, the guys in front of him are brilliant. Jorge Bentes takes it ahead of Nick Klibbens from Owen Patterson and Nigel Stock. That's the LMP3s that have just come through. We're riding on board here with Paul Williams. And then 24 seconds further back is Jochen Sigert. So Jorge Bentes from Nick Klibbens, Owen Patterson, Nigel Stock, Mark Baker. Not a nice one for Marky Mark. He's going to have to, him like Stefan Wessels, is going to have to up the ante somehow. I don't know how. He's going to have to up that ante somehow and just get back in the game with one more round to go. This is round number 5, Protos from Silverstone. And that's the last of the cars, and you'll just pull it off onto the side there. So let's have a look at those results for the race itself. Let's see if we can get that one to come up. There we go. The race results, driver of the day, Benjamin McCliskey. No doubt about it. That was utterly brilliant by Benjamin McCliskey. A master blaster effort, beating out on Gaza. My second driver of the day has got to be Gaza, because he beat out on Stefan Wessels, and you don't beat Stefan Wessels very easily. Paul Williams, a noble act there in that fourth position, doing enough to stay ahead of Jochen Sigurd, Igor Martinez, and Alan McCain. But definitely Benji is my man for the day for the LMDHs. Jorge Bentes coming out ahead of Nick Clibbens, coming out ahead of Owen Patterson, the winner of race number 1. Nigel Stock ahead of ailing Mark Baker, and then Sean Skitter behind that. So Jorge Bentes making up some good numbers there. He might even be leading the championship. We'll have to check at the points after this one, and we'll bring you those points when we come back to you in 2 weeks' time, with the last round of Next Gen Racing Season 5. Round number 6 will be the last round. And next week this time, we will first of all come to you with the GT3s. And then the following week, we'll be back with the last round of this lovely Proto Series, Season 5, round number 6 of the GT3s. And then the following week of the Protos. Driver of the day in the LMP3s. Owen Patterson did very, very well to win that first race. But I think on overall points, Jorge is probably just a little bit up on him. But then again, I think I'm going to give it to Nick Clibbens, the Sharkman, because Nick has been tending to make errors, and that's cost him very heavily. And today, he wiped out the errors, and he retained the pace. So I would say driver of the day for a nice clean drive there, Nick Clibbens coming through in that second position overall in this race. Folks, that wraps it up for now. It was an honor and a pleasure to be here with you for round number 5 at Silverstone, and I look forward in a week from now to be back with you with the Next Gen GT3 round number 6, and then a fortnight from now we'll be back with the 6th and final round of the Protos Next Gen Season 5. Thanks very much for joining me. Have a great evening, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week at the same time. Cheers, everybody.